All right, RC fans, I just want to do a recap of this Arrma Vortex. First of all, I want to apologize to Horizon Hobby and Arrma for the rant that I went on when I was back in Virginia Beach in this truck. This limit of a truck, because it is a limit. At least mine is. I'm not saying anybody else's. Because I had to dump some more money into it. Pretty much what I already had, but still was money out of the pocket. And to getting it to run the way that I needed it to run. So I don't want to, pretty much bash it because I stayed with the truck, figured out different things with it, and what I'm gonna do is just go down a list that I have made up of cons, pros, and needed upgrades. All right. Right now, it's coffee time. Yes. Philadelphia Phillies. Remember that, y'all. Anyway. This is my Arrma Vortex. All right. I don't know what else to say about it, but I want you to take a good look at it. All right. We're going to go through everything in detail. Hopefully I don't make this video too long, but on my YouTube channel, you can look up my rant and raving about this thing, how badly it treated me. And yes, I was upset. I was very upset. All right. Let's do this. First gripe about the cons. I'm gonna do the cons first. All right, I made a list. All right, on my Note 20. Tires don't grip. These are the worst tires I have ever had on any truggy. And this is a truggy. It's not a monster truck. It's not a stadium truck. It's a truggy. All right. Tires don't grip. The electronics that originally came with this is not meant. This truck is too heavy for those electronics. Period. All right. Let's get that straight. Motor bearing. All right. This is the second Arrma motor that I had. Failed bearings. All the years I've been running brushless motors, I never had bearings go bad on me right out the box. All right, but these Arrmas, it's just not right. I replaced them. I like actually doing my own stuff anyway. I don't trust manufacturer stuff. All right, ride height's too low. Now this is a truggy. All right. It's not a monster truck. The chassis is not set up right for the bumper height or the, how should I put it, how far back the tires sit before the skid plate hits something low like a crack in the curb, a root that's sticking up a little bit too high. All right, I had bashed in the skid plate, the front skid plate. All right, that I got extra just because I know that I'm destroying them. All right, wheel alignment is misaligned. All right, these right out of the box. Too much positive toe in the front, too much negative camper front and back. All right, it actually causes the vehicle not to be able to get up to the speed it wants to because there's too much scrub in the tires. All right, and what happens, and I can understand why they did that, because when you straighten these tires out too much or whatever, since you can't change the exponential of the how far the wheels travel, you get traction roll. It'll roll and flip quite often, even though the tires don't have any traction. It'll traction roll. I don't know about that. Like I said, the skid plate is the actual bumper. All right, that's number 6. It will get in the way when going off road, or even just when hitting concrete or asphalt. It gets in the way. All right, I had broken that on a little piece of pipe that I didn't even know was sticking up out of the ground. All right, so the body for the roof skid plates and for the rear wing, it needed longer screws. So because the screws kept falling out, the rear wing be flopping, and you know the skid plate actually came off. So I put longer screws in. Problem solved. All right, and I didn't even have them back out anymore after that either. The plastic spur gear. All right, and yeah, I'm reading off a list. The plastic spur gear, that should be replaced, all right? Because when the motor bearing goes bad, you destroy the plastic spur gear. I mean, it gets destroyed. All right, so go figure. The firmware system, the electronic, it stinks. Even though it's 100 amp ESC in this, 3300, 550 motor in here, it's not up to par. Excuse me. Like I said, this is a coffee break. That's why we're going through this. All right. I'll tell you what I upgraded to eventually. All right, and what happened. Now we're going to the pros. Rear wing is sturdy. I have rolled this, I had cartwheeled it, I have flipped it up on the back. This wing is still in here. And if you look at the wing, all right, yeah, you know, from being at the beach, the screws is rusty. If you look at the wing, that sucker looks good, doesn't it? Original wing, original body. All right, body is tough. That's number 2. All right, it is. I got a couple dimples underneath, but you can't see nothing wrong, scratch, anything on the body itself. Those skid plates do its job. It does its job on this. That is great. If you just do normal bashing, I'm not talking about 15, 20 feet up in the air, jumps or whatever. You just do 5 feet, anything 10 feet and less. This truck, the shocks on it can handle it. All right. If I mess up or my grammar or my verbal communication to you, I apologize. All right. But let's continue on. The modular design is nice. All right, because it's easy to take things apart front and back, work on individual section at a time, which I like a lot. Remind me of Traxxas. Bad word for Arrma. But anyway, that's a nice added clip. I like the body clips that's on there. The rubber on this seems to be tough. I haven't ripped one off or tore it apart yet, even though I'm stretching the body clips a little bit. They're getting a little wider, but that makes it easier to put on and off, because you know when you get them brand new, man, you might as well punch a hole through your fingers trying to take them off and put them on. All right. All right. Nice average size battery tray. Takes the nominal batteries. See this right here. All right. That was a 2S. This is the 3S. All right. Pretty cool. It takes it, no problem. All right. Yeah, the roof skid place works well. That was number 7.
Right.
Now the chassis splash shields that's up front, that's molded into the chassis, they work pretty well. I mean, it doesn't keep out everything, but
Right.
it keeps out most stuff, except for the little rocks that tends to get
Cool.
around the drive shaft. I'm surprised I haven't tore that up yet, but
That's
they
awesome.
perform pretty well.
Good news for
All
me.
right, now I'm gonna take this stuff off.
That's right.
Yeah, see, I'm a, I'm an old man trying to do this
No
one-handed.
problem.
Young boys could do that. All right, now check it out.
Not a
Now
problem
I'm
at
gonna
all.
show you underneath the hood of this thing. All right, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now when I first got this truck, all
But
right,
then I had to ask you how you feel in a couple of days.
I didn't even put a
It
battery
hit you
pack
right in there
through this
today.
yet. Went down Virginia Beach, took it out in the sand, and
Oh,
it
that's
had all
fine.
kinds of issues.
Fine.
That's when the
That's okay.
screws came out, the wing was flopping and came off, and and when you go on vacation, you don't bring. Look. I can't. I try to
Right.
bring as much as
Uh-huh.
possible, but I couldn't bring
It's
everything.
happening.
So I didn't have extra screws or anything.
Uh,
All right.
that's
So
funny. I remember
that was
when Butch was
disastrous.
born, or he
And
was
I
just
wasn't
rocked
even
out
in the sand yet.
Dry Hill, man. I was ecstatic.
And
I was happy as
before I
all get
got
out.
out of through one pack, motor bearing was shot. The ESC was overheating, shutting down. Probably because the motor bearing had the rotor inside, bouncing all around, hitting the stator and causing it to overheat and draw too many amps, the whole bit. Now, I could go and explain to you a whole
Wow.
bunch of stuff with electronics. That was the field of study for me,
You know,
even though I did everything else in between. Go figure. Life is what it is. But
he don't want no more cousins. He
I
can't
even
control
put
that.
another 3S ESC in here. It was a Castle.
He just want to be uncle.
Castle Sidewinder 4. Bad boy had great power, on 2S. See, and I test everything on 2S for one reason. Because if I can get 2S to almost fly as fast as the 3S and everything hold up, all right, then I know that it'll work with everything else. All right. And ESC, I had a Castle ESC. I had to
You
send
can't
back
open that
to
to RFC
Castle.
trying to figure out,
It
am
was
I
out of
supposed to do
warranty
RFC or am I
because I
supposed to
had
do it
it
on my
for
phone?
such a long time. But the price that they gave me to
I'll walk you
replace
out
it,
because I'm in the parking lot
it was perfect.
waiting for everybody.
I just don't get the whole uh,
Yeah, how
shipping and
rare is
handling
that?
thing. But I mean, now I do. But all right, let's keep moving on.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I did,
Yeah, but I don't want
the
it to ruin my
pinion,
image. I don't want to ruin it.
I need my glasses to read this, reading glasses. I can't see these little small things, even the ones I printed out. The ratio for the pinion and spur is
All right,
2.6 to
well,
1. All
like I
right.
said, I got to go to court on
And
Thursday.
yes, I'm not about hiding gears and all
Guy
like
was supposed
that.
to
I
text me some
mean, I'm not
information.
doing anything that nobody else can do. They put all this stuff out here for you to buy.
Yeah.
Nobody made anything custom for me. If it was custom made and I was doing some, maybe. But this is stuff off the shelf, ready to buy, drop in the box. All right.
All right.
2257, 22 tooth
All
pinion.
right.
All right. What I say,
Congratulations, brother.
57? Yeah,
No, I said
57
I should say thank you
spur.
to you. To
Now,
me, I love grandkids,
that's money,
even
honey.
though they don't see me all.
I'm gonna tell you why. I had that people in the hobby run this truck after I put the gears in. And on 2S,
It's at 50%.
anything from 50C on up, on 2S, the truck performs as
I'm
if it's
sorry about
on
that, y'all.
3S. And I
My
did that
tongue's
because
gone.
when I had this at Virginia Beach,
Almost
my
destroyed
Maverick
my truck. Turned it the
MT
wrong way.
that I made into brush, well,
You know,
no,
that's
it
what we
came
do.
brushless, I'm sorry. But my Maverick MT
Now with the Sidewinder 4,
outran this
30,
Vortex,
3190
literally,
kV motor,
hands down, once I changed to ESC.
3665.
It was already brushless. The only
Yeah, it's
thing that I
working
did
good. I got now
was change
the
from
tracks
that
better.
45 amp
I think the adjuster cam is
ESC
working
that they had
more.
in the Maverick to 100 amp. And because the power curve in the
I
circuitry,
think
how it was
they're
programmed from
running
the factory,
running
was
tough.
better than that
I don't know if
firmer. That firmer couldn't keep up. It would overheat.
oh Lord
It would
Jesus
shut
help me, but
down. The motor, like I told you, the bearing
yeah,
went.
these two vehicles.
All right.
These two
I've
vehicles
since rebuilt it,
holding me together.
changed a few things. I
These
haven't tried it
vehicles
in anything yet.
over there.
Um, Probably when I do, I'll probably get rid of it because that's the second firmer system that failed on me like that. So I'm not a big fan of
Yeah,
firmer right now until I'm proven
22
otherwise that it can outperform, you know,
hold up, 40
the systems that I've been putting together.
2
So right now, the ESC that I recommend for this Vortex
So
because
to
how
put in the
heavy it
4S,
is. And it's a power to
I
weight
was
ratio
gonna put a
thing.
custom bed in
I'm
here,
not going to get into all that right now, but it's a power to weight
put in
ratio
here.
thing. You got to
Got
find the
my
right ESC.
3S.
Just like what Castle does with their Mamba
Now
X
the
and Mamba, all their ESC,
it's up to
it's a weight thing.
75%.
All right, they got a weight limit. All right, this firmer should have probably been 120 amp
Tuning
or
them.
150 amp firmer ESC for the weight of this Vortex because it's heavy. It's heavier than my monster truck. It's heavier than the Traxxas I have. Um, what else I'm running? There's one other. You know what? It's even heavier than my HPI XS, which for 112, as they can call it, is a heavy little truck. All right. And it should be almost around the same weight, but it's not. So the XK 3665 3190 kV Turnigy motor is in it now. All right. No issues whatsoever. I put a Hobby Wing WP SC8 ESC in it. Now I'm gonna tell you it's 120 amp because you to maybe some people don't know, but they made an 80 amp SC8
Huh?
also. All right,
What about your mom's
the
face?
RTR version is a 120, and then the one that Hobby Wing sold
Sister
is
Rosa?
120, but the Chinese knockoff is 80 amp. So beware. All right, this want to put that out there. I don't want anybody talking about, well, I got ripped off. I'm letting you know straight up. All right, and the 120 amp WPSC8 and the Turner G motor, man, look, I was running circles around the X Max 8S out the box, right? 2S and that X Max was Somebody put a 6S
Right.
in it,
Yes.
couldn't even
Yes.
hang. Even when they went to 8S, I put a
You know,
3S
they
battery,
gave you a day off.
still was blowing the doors off of this
They
bad
gave
boy.
you a day off.
Not saying that, you know, you got to remember X-Max is a big, big truck, a lot of power, whatnot. But we was jumping this thing. It was rolling. And like I said, the only thing
Uh,
is these tires.
now you
I'm
know
going to do
how
a
to
speed
think
run to
for
add to this
people.
video. I know this video is going to be a little long, but this is unscripted, unedited video right now that I'm putting down. And I just want to say, to finish off my little list, you need a metal spur gear, which I put in here. That's the 57 too. You need longer screws in the body. You need metal hexes on the for the wheel hubs, for the the tires. If you're gonna bash this real hard, you're gonna have to put big bore shocks, and that's gonna probably be my next upgrade for this truck. All right, now that I got things straightened out, wheels aligned, all that, and I got tires for it, yeah, it's gonna got to get the shocks. Going to do that. All right. Um, the servo so far is holding up. I'm not gonna mess with that, but I might see right now
Well, at least he's having fun.
that exponential curve for the steering. That got to do that. Gotta buy. You gotta buy extra skid plates because if you like me run this in loose dirt, don't know what's beyond the grass or the gravel or sticking up out of the ground, might be a rock that's halfway in the ground or whatever. The bumper's too high. Even when I had the truck lower, because I add some spacers to the shocks, maybe I could show it to you, get it real close up. See the spacer in the back? That's the back, right? And a shorter one in the front. You see it? See the difference? That's what you got to do. All right, increase the rod height. That's probably why also traction roll because it's not too low. But I raised it because it was a lot of chassis slack. Too much when I try to jump, and also when the skid plate hit, it was too low, and it still hits. The bumper's in the wrong place. The bumper should be lower. All right, and I know it's there to protect the body, but it should be lower. All right, so electronics, I already told you. Need to upgrade that. I told you which one to go with. All right, and I'll probably put a list in the description or whatever of what's needed. I might. You should be able to figure it out. Look at the video again or something. And I'm considering upgrading the axles. So far, the axles been holding up under 3S power, and I have been running under 3S. And most people know me. I run most things on 2S. Like I said, the test and tune or whatever. 3S is just the icing on the cake. All right. So pretty much that's it. And like I said, Horizon Hobby and Arrma, apologize to y'all for ranting and raving, but you take my advice on this truck. All right. Um, you have a winner. You got to do something with that bumper though, because I shouldn't have to keep buying skid plates for it. Because it just hitting things in different yards and grass and fields that I can readily see this there, and boom. If you look at mine, the one that's on here now, it's pushed back. Look at that. It's pushed in permanently. I had this bumper off because you see I added lights, but it's pushed in permanently. So, um, yeah, I say just do the upgrades and then enjoy the truck. Change the tires, do the electronics, do the gearing the same way I got it.
See,
Man,
this part is bashed in.
Yes, sirree, Bob, as we used to say back in my day. This joint will be smoking. Seriously. All right, my RC fans, I'm out of here. Peace.